Good morning. Welcome to Member Focus Monday. I'm Christina Schaefer, Social Media Manager for HAR, and I am joined by two very special ladies this morning. I have Amber Burton, Director of Governmental Affairs for HAR, and Karen Driscoll, who is HAR's Director of Political Affairs and TREPAC. Welcome, ladies.
Hey, thank you for having us. Good morning.
Good morning, Christina. Thanks for having us.
Good morning. I know this is a very busy time for both of you, so thank you so much for taking some time to join me this morning. You know, we get a lot of questions about politics, about TREPAC, about different issues, and then of course we're 43 days away from Election Day now, so we're going to start seeing even more of those questions from members. So we thought it'd be beneficial to have you ladies on, explain some things to us, and maybe even tell us what we should be looking forward to seeing in November and then next year's legislative session. So let's take a moment, if you could, though. I know, Karen, you've been on this program. It was almost exactly a year ago that you were on this program. And Amber, this is your first time, but if you would, please give us just a brief introduction, who you are and what you do. We can start with you, Amber.
Thanks, Christina. So I'm Amber Burton Alfred. I'm the Director of Government Affairs and Advocacy for the Houston Association of Realtors. My department really focuses on, we call it advocacy now, but in the old world it was called lobbying. And we work with the members because HAR is member driven to ensure that realtor issues and other issues impacting real estate are always at the forefront of our elected officials' minds. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we do.
Yeah, thank you. And you really solidify those relationships that we have with local officials, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well. Karen, what about you?
My name's Karen Driscoll. I'm HR's Director of Political Affairs and TREPAC, as Christina mentioned. Work hard on raising those dollars and then also interviewing the candidates to give those dollars to, really. And make sure that they, we work behind the scenes on get out the vote and voter education and everything like that as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much for doing that and telling us about what you guys do. So Amber, you mentioned we call it advocacy now, instead of lobbying. Why is advocacy and maintaining those relationships with elected officials so important right now?
Well, right now, as you know, we're really facing unprecedented times in our country, from our grappling with COVID-19 to right now we have a hurricane looming, or tropical storm looming, so flooding issues, public education's been impacted. So it's really important to maintain relationships and not just go ask somebody for something when you haven't talked to them in a long time. So at HAR, we really work on having touch points consistently with our elected officials, and from the local level to the state level to the federal level. It's been interesting right now because we can't go, take them to lunch or go to the meetings are all virtual, just like we're virtual. So we're really being creative and innovative on how to stay in touch with them and make sure that they think about us. And also when they're creating policy, we want to make sure real estate is in their minds when they're creating different policies like rental assistance program. We want to make sure that they reach out to us to ask our input on those type of policies.
Yeah. So to that point, what are some key issues that your department has worked on recently, and your advisory groups as well, because you guys both have advisory groups that you're working with, but what are some key things that the Governmental Affairs Department and advisory group have been working on recently?
So for the past about 2 years, since Hurricane Harvey, one of our number one issues has been flood resiliency and recovery. There's still issues that were from Hurricane Ike, Hurricane Rita, other preceding hurricanes. So we're really working with our local officials, the General Land Office in Austin, and in the federal government to make sure that those dollars trickle down and actually help people and create better safety mechanisms for our neighborhoods, our roadways. In the last 6 months, like everyone else, my number one focus has been, how do you practice real estate during COVID-19? So since March, when they started having all the shutdowns and limiting services on certain things, we really worked hard at the local level to ensure that our members could continue to practice essential real estate services. Make sure people can get in their homes, make sure people are safe, and that their deals don't fall through or they don't lose their funding. So that's really been our main concern since March. And additionally, the Government Affairs Advisory Group has also been working on community involvement to show that they're more than just selling homes, but they care about the communities they sell homes to. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the things that we work on recently. And also public education has become very important. Christine, I know you're a mom too. So virtually homeschooling your child, understanding the processes, the funding, and all the things that come with education has become an issue because, as you know, our members on here today, people always ask what kind of schools are there when they're buying a home, if they have children, or if they're going to have children. So public education is really one of our important issues, and we're staying on top of that right now.
Very good. There were some questions around the time that all the shutdowns were taking place, and again, thank you to your team and thank you to our volunteers that met with local officials to deem real estate essential. But there was some question about why would we need real estate to be essential? And at the time of the stay home order, weren't there hundreds of listings that were in pending status at that time?
Yes. And that definitely was a team effort. I mean, mm-hmm. All hands were on deck, and the staff really took that. Karen was involved in it as well. We really took that ownership of that because we want to make sure our members who we serve could work. Mm-hmm. And, there were, I want to say, I don't want to misquote, but we do have those stats that we sent out. We sent letters out and texted, emailed, short of stalking our elected officials during that time. And I just want to say that our elected officials were absolutely amazing and responsive, even though we're grappling with, people becoming ill and trying to figure out that side. They were also very responsive to our needs because there were literally thousands of listings in the greater Houston area that were in pending status and had, let's say, the district clerk's office shut down. You couldn't get, access title, you couldn't file it, then you couldn't get your funding. Mm-hmm. The banks aren't going to give out money when they don't know if this property actually exists, so to speak. So that was really I don't want to say stressful time, but it was very intense. And I was really grateful to know that TREPAC and the Realtors have such a great reputation, and there's strength in numbers. And this is an amazing organization, and the members are so involved. It really paid off during that time.
Yeah, wonderful. Karen, so you mentioned TREPAC. You're in charge of all those funds and everything, like you said. So what exactly does TREPAC do, and how does it save realtors money? I feel like realtors know the term TREPAC, but they don't really quite understand what the point is.
Okay. So TREPAC is technically named Texas Realtors Political Action Committee. So it belongs to the realtors of the state. Mm-hmm. And they work hard, and the mission is to raise and...
Uh-oh, I think we lost her there for a second.
Yes.
All right. We were having a little bit of issues before we got started, but we were coasting along pretty well. So we'll see if we can... Oh, there she is. I'm sorry.
Did you hear any of that?
We heard
Sorry.
Its mission, and then so you...
Okay. The mission is to raise and disperse funds to promote homeownership, protect real property rights, and increase political awareness. That's what the goal of TREPAC is, really. And so the ways that TREPAC has saved money is through the legislative victories over the years. And one of the primary ones of those that people still remember is really the constitutional ban on transfer tax, which was a huge deal back in 2015. And then also at the same time, we increased the homestead exemption for property owners, which was also a big deal because really, as realtors, they're working hard because investing in TREPAC is another way that you're protecting your clients and the homeowners of the state, the property owners of the state.
Yeah.
So those are kind of the top two victories of ways they save money.
That's wonderful. So we've heard the phrase, if real estate is your profession, then politics is your business. Why is it so important for realtors to be involved?
Well, for that reason, exactly, really, because it really kind of impacts your clients. And you can become the expert on all of these issues that impact them. And it's knowledge that you have in your sales kit. It's knowledge that you have that you bring to the table. And when you're involved like that and you're working even harder, taking those extra steps for your clients, it makes even more sense.
Yeah, wonderful. Amber, you just mentioned some local victories. We've also heard the phrase that all politics is local. It's a common phrase in U.S. politics. Do you believe that statement to be true?
I definitely do. We're all wearing our red, white, and blue, and my shirt actually says vote, and it says vote local, judicial, local, state, and federal. But I think that for me, local politics is my favorite, and I think it's something that you can see an instant result from. You can go down to and now go click online, but you can sign up to publicly speak at your local county commissioner's court, city council meeting to discuss your property taxes, ask questions. You can also, if there's trash that's been dumped in your neighborhood in the lot and you're upset about that, you can reach out to your city council member. And even in a city like Houston, elected officials are so happy to hear from constituents, to know what's going on the ground. I think also the policies and ordinances that your local officials are creating and enacting really do impact you. And I think that we've seen that with coronavirus. I mean, in my profession, people are always like, oh, what do you do? It's boring. We don't want to talk about politics, Amber, but everybody wants to talk about politics. Everybody wants to talk about politics now because they like, oh my, wow, the county judge. First of all, what does that mean? What does the county judge do? Why do they have so much power in Texas? And they can tell us we can't go to the gym or we can't go to the movies or whatever. So I think that it's easy to get involved at the local level. And I think everyone should know at least, who's representing them, how to reach them, especially in like Montgomery County, where you're more rural areas that are less populated. It's critical to know what's going on. It's easy because they want to know you. They might not get but 5 people at the meeting. So if you go and make an effort and to represent your industry and of real estate, they're going to remember that. And they'll say, you know what? Sally came down, the realtor. I need to reach out to her and see what she thinks about this ordinance before we vote on it.
Yeah, very good. So Karen, you mentioned earlier that, encouraging people to register to vote and educating people about voting and all of that stuff is a big part of what you do. So I know we have some important dates coming up. What are some important dates that everybody needs to get out their pen and jot down right now?
Well, tomorrow is actually National Voter Registration Day, which is the great opportunity to get all of that kind of taken care of. If you've moved recently, which we know a lot of people have in our area, right? And also, you're not sure if you're registered, where you're registered, or anything like that, you may need to change it. Make sure that you do that now. The deadline is October 5th to get all of that taken care of. And then early voting actually starts early this year, October 13th. And then the October 23rd is deadline to apply for mail-in ballot. And then October 30th, early voting will end. And of course, Election Day is November 3rd. So those are the big dates. And I kind of walked through that fast, but it's all available online as well.
Excellent, excellent. So what, with that in mind, what can we expect to see on the ballot this year? Because there are some changes, right?
Oh, there's some big changes.
Yeah.
So the kind of even going into this election year 2020, there was one big change is that we in the state of Texas no longer has straight ticket voting. So that will be a really big change on your ballot. When you go in, you won't be able to just select that option at the top of the ballot. So you're going to have to scroll through you're going to have to go through the whole ballot to manually pick all of your candidates that you would like to vote for. And then we've added names to the ballot because we had the postponements of the May elections. They were all pushed back to the November ballot. So that will add all those local elections, which usually happen in May, to that bottom part of the ballot. And as Amber mentioned, being involved at the local level is so key and so relevant. So please, we want you guys to go down. Members on the PALS groups and the PAG have spent over 35 hours on Zoom interviewing and building these relationships from the ground up with these local candidates. So we'd love for you to make sure you take the time to scroll through your whole ballot and vote for those candidates in your area.
Excellent, excellent. If you have any questions for Karen or Amber, type them into the comments and we'll get to those in just a little bit. Kind of looking ahead here, Amber, what do you think we should expect to see in next year's legislative session here in Texas?
So we've been working hard to kind of reach out early to our state elected officials to see, because going down to Austin we don't know what that's going to look like at the Capitol. So one of the main things I've heard consistently is going to be a budget session. So they're going to be looking at all the funding the economy, the impact on the economy due to coronavirus. They're going to have to grapple with that. If you think about it, they just in 2017 had come out with all these different funding. 2019. A different funding for schools, for increasing the budget, giving teachers increased salaries, and they were doing that with the thought that 2020 would be a great earning year and that we would replenish those coffers. Obviously, that hasn't been the case, and they've had to expend a lot of funds due to helping our citizens deal with job loss and their effects on the economy. So we're going to see that. I think that's going to really take up a lot of their time. I've also heard rumors there will be a special session. So they'll be in session during the summer because Texas only meets 140 days a year. So there'll probably be a summer session next year as well. But I'm hoping they're going to, for us, our issues as far as flooding, that they're going to still look at that. One of the main things that they're looking at is a coastal spine, the coastal barrier in the Gulf that would help break up the storms. And also, I think looking at making sure, we're doing our census right now. I got to plug the census. It's almost time for that to wrap up at the end of the month. But the state elected officials are the ones who do the redistricting. So they're going to have to handle that. That's part of the Constitution. So I think that'll be interesting to see if the lines are redrawn, if we gain any more elected officials, gain any more representatives, senators. So I think those are going to be two of our top issues going into the legislative session, but it's going to look different due to people not being able to be there. We have our lobby day for all Texas Realtors, and Karen and I have been talking about what is that going to look like if we can't actually have that, because that's literally thousands of people in the state capitol, which it really isn't safe for our elected officials. So we're looking at, virtual options that we can have to make sure people can still hear from those leaders.
Okay. And I do see a couple questions coming in here from our members, so let's actually take a look at those. We actually Tammy had asked Karen if you could share those dates again. And also maybe in case they missed those dates, if you could just give us the website where they can find them too after the fact.
Sure. Really, your county website is the best resource for your local information as regards to deadlines and then polling locations and all of that information that's really clear and concise and local to you. Mm-hmm. So we can post all of those on hr.com. hr.com/political affairs. Sorry, I almost gave you the wrong website. I have to. So, and we'll also post them. I'll go through and post them on the comments on Facebook as well.
Wonderful. Thank you. John asked, how do you get an early ballot so you can review what you'll be voting for? Is there a website for that, or how do you do that?
You can find a sample ballot based on your address and your voter registration number. Also on all of those websites I just mentioned on your county website. All of them have the ability to give you a sample ballot.
Yeah. I've always done that in the past. You send out emails to the entire staff with here's where you can find that information. And I actually take that in like a cheat sheet into the room when I go to vote. And so I have my cheat sheet and I can get in there and get in and out as quickly as possible, which I think will be a lot of people's goal this year as well. Nicole asked if you guys could talk about, she said, can you talk about the nemesis in the upcoming session, which the control and fees assessed with homeowners associations? Amber, do you have any thoughts there? Is there any, I know there's murmurings amongst realtors about it, but are there murmurings about it with elected officials?
I've heard from some elected officials that's an issue that we would take to them, mm-hmm. Or one that they really wouldn't think about unless they, were onslaught with letters from their constituents. I do know, was that Nicole Lopez who mm-hmm. asked that? So Nicole is one of our members on the GAG, and she also serves on a newly created subcommittee called the Housing Affordability Task Force. And one of the issues we're going to be addressing and researching is the HOA. I do know in Representative Jean Wu's district in Houston, that's definitely a problem. with the condo homeowners associations. So I'd like to look into that. We have looked into it, but it's one of those things that they have a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
They must have really good lobbyists. But so it would be really that would definitely be a member-driven issue initiative. So please, guys, my email is just amber@hr.com. When you have those type of issues, and Nicole knows this, but feel free to let us know. Like, give us an example of what your client is dealing with and where it is, so we can get that research done for you and look into because we have to kind of accumulate those concerns, so then we can say, look, we've had 30 inquiries on this issue, representative or senator such and such, and we really want to address this with you, and we can take that to the Texas Realtors to help us with that, because we partner with Texas Realtors and the National Association of Realtors on state and federal issues.
Okay, wonderful. This could be for either of you ladies if you know this. Natalie's asking, do you know the status of the PPP in regards to loan repayment / forgiveness? If you
I don't know the due dates. That would be something that we did initially. That was one initiative that we all worked on, and along with the communication staff, Christina, to make sure members knew how to apply for that. But as far as the payback time, things like that, we don't track that. What we do track is any additional funding, any bills that are going to be that Congress is looking at to help with more funding. I do know that at the local level, they're looking at helping with the mortgage assistance instead of just rental assistance. So there are some things in the works. If you would like help on that, Natalie, just reach out to us so we can try to get you help on your individual question.
Wonderful. I see a comment in here about how we choose to endorse candidates and the interview process and all of that. I know this is something that we get questions about a lot. Both of you ladies hear these questions. Something else that I've seen in the past, but even just a couple weeks ago, is you'll sometimes see comments, well, TREPAC only supports Republican candidates, or TREPAC only supports Democratic candidates. And I see that from both sides. Karen, can you clear that up for us? What exactly, who is TREPAC endorsing?
Well, TREPAC is endorsing the Realtor Party candidate.
Yes.
So that, when they come to interview with us, their political party is only a small portion of what we even discuss. We really discuss realtor issues such as, these volunteers spend hours discussing taxes and homeowners associations and appraisal fees and appraisal caps and all these very fun topics with these candidates. But the party is really is based on how they discuss those issues with us and who we really feel is the most knowledgeable on those issues and can represent those issues at the whatever level of government we're interviewing at the time. And so when we interview, and the most recent one that we can really look at is the primary election, and really over the statewide we had 50-50 Republican and Democrat during that election. So that's really awesome, and it kind of remains that way. It kind of fluctuates a little bit. It could be 52% Republican, 48% Democrat, but it's really very close and very even most of the time.
Yeah.
So
very good. Thank you. And I see a comment here from Christy about getting involved, from Christy Burton, and we know she is very involved. So I do want to know, because people ask this too, well, who's making these decisions, on which candidates we endorse, and that is our realtor members. So how can realtors get involved? And actually somebody's asking, I would love to know the process. So how can they get involved with your departments? We can start with you, Amber, on that one.
So in November, we'll start doing a huge push, sending out the application process to get involved. Government Affairs is really a fun group. And we've grown. We don't have to do as much of the hands-on interviews as Karen's groups do, but what we do is keep in contact for 2 to 4 years. Once the PAG and PALs have selected to support those, once they win, we're either strengthening those relationships, or if we maybe didn't choose the members maybe didn't choose the right person that wasn't successful, we're then rebuilding those relationships. So we'll send out emails advertising that. You'll post it on social media. I know you always do, on what different groups you can get involved in. There's members like Christy Burton who are involved in several groups. So if you have time and you want to really get volunteer and be boots on the ground, you should do that. And also just shoot me an email. Me and my staff we get emails year round about wanting to be involved, and we respond to all of those. So if you can't find me or Karen's email, you can find us on the website, and we'll get that email as well.
Yeah, great. Karen, do you have anything you want to add to that?
Well, yeah, we have even one thing that we didn't really talk about is the PALS groups. Those meet regionally. So if you don't really feel like you may not be part of City of Houston or Harris County, we do have groups that meet and focus on Fort Bend County and City of Sugar Land, for example, or Montgomery County and the Woodlands, for example. So there are multiple options when you're looking at that list of how to get involved.
Yeah, great. And we just heard how important it is to look at those local issues. So yeah, those PAL groups would be great. A question here, I don't know if you guys can answer, but I'll just throw it out there because I know you will research anything that you can't. Kenya asked, I have several, and this is not Kenya Burrell, it's a different Kenya. I have several clients in Clear Lake and League City areas. Their property taxes increased 100% in communities with no movement or sales. Who should they speak with to help their clients?
And where are they again?
She said they are in Clear Lake and League City areas.
So that's what, Brazoria County? Or
that is Galveston County.
Galveston County. Okay, so Galveston County is not in HAR's purview that we advocate to. They have their own association, but you always want to reach out to your county clerk's office or your county tax assessor's office. And the article that I've written for HAR Houston Realtor Magazine is all about that. It's all about property taxes and who do you talk to when you get your bill. If you don't like your bill, when can you appraise it? It's going to have dates on it. Also, Texas Realtors has an amazing website about property taxes that also has great information and videos, because let's face it, no one likes tax. I mean, taxes are very confusing. So I would say reach out to your county tax assessor, because they're the one who sets your taxes, and also your county appraisal district for that information, because your clients can protest those appraisals and those tax amounts.
Yeah, definitely. And I can actually say, as a Galveston County resident myself, they do have a lot of information on that website. We had to visit it when we got our tax information. So very good. So thank you guys for sharing how we can get involved. Some people are asking for your email addresses, and I know you'll go into the comments a little later and do that. We do have a big event coming up this week that I know everybody's really excited about, including you two. And I'm curious if you guys don't know, I'm talking about HAR's Virtual Engage Conference, which is free to everyone. So you definitely need to register, har.com/engage. But I'm curious what you guys are most excited about, if maybe there's a speaker or a topic that you are most excited about hearing from at Engage. And we can start with you on this one, Karen.
Well, actually, so I've already kind of mentioned I'm kind of a numbers geek because I focus on the accounting part. Mm-hmm. But so I always love hearing from Patrick Jankowski with the Greater Houston Partnership, and I know he's doing a presentation. So just like he used to do at H-Town Day, so it'll be very informative and I'm sure very broad strokes of what we're seeing in the Houston area. So that will be very interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm always excited to hear from him. He can deliver those numbers in a really fun way. So that's a good one. Amber, do you have anyone that you're excited to hear from?
I'm excited about the keynote speaker, the real estate guru. Is it Mauricio?
Mauricio Umansky? Yes.
Yes. But also, I love seeing like Jennifer Wahab and Jamila Lindsay, panelists, some of our members that are amazing. I'm all about girl power. So I want to hear from the members I work with, and I'm excited to actually hear about their business and what drives them. So I can kind of get in their minds and see how I can sneak back and get them to volunteer on something later. But this is the first. Normally, I'm at Engage working a table trying to get people to sign up for the Government Affairs Advisory Group. So this is the first time I'll be able to sit and just enjoy it and absorb the information. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, that will be really exciting. And we actually do have a lot of realtor members that are volunteering and working. I know Nicole's in the chat right now talking about Renee Funk, who's also a really great speaker. She's based out of Orlando, that she's going to be speaking with Jennifer Wahab. Nicole will be helping us with one. Jamila, who's also very involved with TREPAC and governmental affairs, she's going to be moderating a session. So we do have a lot of realtor involvement in Engage as well. So har.com/engage. If you haven't signed up, please do so. It is free. And it's not great weather this week, so we have no excuse not to sit down and learn some great information. But again, you do have to register, so make sure you do that now. Karen, Amber, any last thoughts, anything else that you'd like to share with our members today before we wrap up?
Just that we're here for any questions they may have, and we'll go back in the comments and answer any that we didn't get to. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Amber?
And I echo that. Also, like I said, please just shoot me an email if you have issues, questions. There's no question too big or too small or too weird. I've gotten it all, from graffiti on how to get rid of graffiti to, some huge issue like tax reform or flooding issue. So don't think any question is dumb or not worth it. Just reach out. We're here. We're member driven. So I rely on you all just as much as you rely on me. And please, while you have time at home, just check out your local city council commissioners court meeting this week. Just do that for me. Go to the website, click on the video, and just watch it for a little bit and just see what it's like. And let me know how that is.
Yeah.
And remember to go vote.
And remember to go vote. Yes, go check out those.
If you haven't registered.
Yes, register to vote. Tomorrow is National Voter Registration Day, right, Karen? So make sure you register to vote. Go check out your county websites and take a look at the sample ballot, as somebody mentioned too. That's always really important. Yes, make sure that you are an informed voter this year. And of course, if you have any questions, both of these ladies are available to answer those questions. So be sure to reach out to them. Well, that's it for this Member Focus Monday. Next Member Focus Monday, we are going to have another HAR staff person, Nathan Goebel, who is our Matrix guru. He is going to be on to talk about all of the updates that you might have been seeing lately in Matrix. So be sure to tune in to hear from him about those updates. You can submit feedback to him about Matrix and ask him any technical questions that you have regarding Matrix as well. So we'll see you guys next Monday at 9 a.m. Have a great week. Bye-bye.